your business development is personal development. The more you're working on growing yourself and growing to be the best version of you that you can be, that is a blessing to your business. It is a blessing to
Amen.
your clients. And it is incredible that we are benefiting the people that we serve by doing everything we can to grow. Having time to go and enjoy other people and having ways that we can learn from people that are doing it a lot better than we are. And so it means a lot that you're making a space to allow for those types of conversations where we can learn from each other, encourage each other, and, get to have some fun and enjoy it.
Welcome. It's Friday. It's 12:59 in the afternoon here in Gilbert, Arizona, Pacific Standard Time, and we're over here trying to get data transferred on two iPhones from the 14 to 16 Pro Max, and so that's always fun. And I'm gonna use the Google phone here because got the iPhone for my wife. But I'm super excited for today's guest because he is going to be adding some value to anyone out there that wants to start a brokerage, wants to have a team, and wants to be able to pour into that team, right? So he talks a little bit about on his profile page advertising and marketing. So we're going to be bringing Chase in, but his brokerage, he's absolutely crushing it on that side as well. And I see his team and his content. Let's get him in here. Where's Chase? Chase, welcome to Real Estate First Technology, brother.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm excited to get to be with you.
Yeah, man. Likewise. We want to go deep in all things what you're up to, from your team, your family, your processes. The weather looks beautiful out there. What time is it for you over there?
Oh man, yeah, man. What time is it? I don't even know. What time is it over there?
We're 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Are you 2 or 3 hours ahead?
We're central, so
Okay, I think two.
yeah, yeah. I think it's 2 o'clock here.
Okay, 2 o'clock there. So you're not too far ahead. Just about an hour. That's awesome. So man, you're in this world of real estate. You built your team. Everyone, go give them a follow, man. Go give them a follow. Links are down below.
Thank you for the shout out, and I'm just so impressed with what I saw from you. I mean, you've had some incredible names on this podcast, on the show, and it's really an honor to even be included with that group of people I've seen come as special guests with you. And
Ah,
so, man, keep up the great work because this is a cool deal. I think you're creating a lot of value for a lot of people. People like me who are all the way in the outskirts of Arkansas, trying to learn from the big hitters that are in these bigger markets. I mean, it's really
yeah.
fun to get to learn from the community that is, all over the world selling
Amen.
properties.
Yeah. One thing that I've learned is that I feel like individuals, when you get into, like, say we had Sharon on the show with Real Broker, there's just so, like, a lot of the people out there, they're just so nice. The ones that have like the large teams or at these brokerages, they're just, it's like, what do you
Yeah.
want to know?
No,
Let me just
absolutely. Yeah, one of my favorite like discoveries was one of our first real estate conferences that me and a couple teammates went to. My teammate Ramsey, he pointed it out. He said, events with realtors are the best because realtors, they know how to party and they love people. And
yes,
they're used to serving people all
yes.
day long. And so when they're with people to just enjoy people, it's just that much more fun.
Yes, and you know what? You hit the nail on the head there, Chase, because at the end of the day, that's what we do here. Opportunity, because like with social media, man, and the scroll and every 3 seconds and meetings and you're in and out and have all the things going on, like when do you have time to actually just like, let's just take an hour and connect, dude.
Absolutely.
Just pour into the
Absolutely.
industry, give as much value as we can, nothing expected here, and just serve.
Yeah, and it is kind of an interesting deal that there's not as a whole lot of businesses that feel quite as clear to be the case that this is the way that it is in real estate, that
Mm,
you have here your business development is personal development. So
yes.
the more you're working on, growing yourself and growing to be the best version of you that you can be, that is a blessing to your business. It is a blessing to
Amen.
your clients. And it is incredible that we are benefiting the people that we serve by doing everything we can to grow and to
Yes.
and so yeah, having time to go and enjoy other people and having ways that we can learn that how to just, yeah, like network and learn from from people that are doing it a lot better than we are all over the
Hmm.
world. I think it's really important to do. And so it means a lot that you're making a space, to allow for those types of conversations where we can learn from each other, encourage each other, and, get to have some fun and enjoy each other.
Dude, I really appreciate that, man. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of big companies out there, and congratulations to your success out there. Any type of like, we're speaking with sponsor here, Liftoff Agent, comparable companies that are offering services to different agents and different individuals out there, which is they're great, they're doing amazing. It's just I feel like you don't get enough of like I'm a car guy, so open the hood, what you got going on there? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's have a deeper, meaningful conversation. We actually had Jessica on yesterday, and she's interviewed like Elias with Team Fast, Kenny Fast, and one thing that we were talking about was just the fact of being able to, like we talked about here, is connecting and going deeper, and then adding value, and then mentorship. And when you think about a mentor, you can idolize someone and you could be like, man, this person, he's amazing, she's amazing, and it may be that the fact that like if you look a lot of these people that are up there, right, and they have hundreds of thousands of millions of followers, you don't always get to see three different subjects. Okay, you might see the business side, maybe a little bit of personal, nothing spiritual, and it depending on their approach, they might be like super spiritual approach or super family and personal approach or super business approach. And it's like when you're looking for a mentor or you're looking for someone to look up to, and maybe it's someone who's listening, and you're the person after the end of the show because what they resonate with, we're going to go underneath the hood here and like learn about you, a little bit about your family, a little bit about personal, like spiritual, like let's go deeper so people can see who you are outside of, you go on the profile here and everything is so polished. There's a process, there's an intention behind the video and what you're doing. And I think sometimes when you could just like let your hair down, have a cigar, put your cowboy hat on and just have a conversation, you're going to get things out of that's more authentic, right? Then like, hey, like, okay, coming soon, just sold, just listed, or hey, I got this new person on my team, or that type of stuff. I feel like.
Absolutely. Yeah. I want to ask you personally, have you ever experienced burnout?
Oh my God, yes.
I just think once that happens to you, things start to shift and you have to start to
Mm,
make a decision. How do I want to operate? And what is most important to me? And why do I do what I do?
yes.
And I was leaving a listing appointment or as a listing shoot. We were doing the photos and video this morning,
Yeah.
and the seller, she was just so kind and was just saying like, I can't wait to see this on Instagram. And I said, oh, me either. I'm so excited. And she said, I just love that you have so much fun. And so it's so important to me that like whatever we do, we got to be having fun. So when
Yes.
we're talking about recruiting and who's going to be on our squad, we just got to be having fun. So anytime we're in a recruiting meeting or talking about a prospective agent joining the team, one of the things that we're thinking about is like, is this somebody that I'm going to get to have some fun getting to do deals with?
Mm,
And can I feel comfortable and confident that they're going to pursue excellence and
yeah.
and kind of behind closed doors outside of the spotlight?
Mm,
Because if it's all about looking good and all about having fun, that's not going to work. But if it's one or the other, it seems like it doesn't last. And so
yes.
it's important that they're both committed to having a good time. They got to be able to work hard and they got to be able to play hard.
I love that. And to add to that, there's something to be said when it comes from the perspective of like when you're in line with your true, authentic kind of like self, but like goals, and you're in line with your vision and you know where you're going, and then you also have more fun with it, then I
Yeah.
feel like it takes it to a whole other level. And I was actually going to the gym this morning with my wife, and I told her, I said, honey, I said, we need to have, it's funny you said this. I said, honey, we need to have more fun. I said,
Oh, I
I said,
love that.
we can go up north in an hour and 45 minutes, and get up 7,000 feet elevation, drop temperature. I said, just need to drive up and just go. I said, we need to be able to like
Wow.
midweek, let's go, Uptown Jungle Fun is out here for my daughter, and she gets to go and play with a bunch of kids and have some fun. Or we just last week went and watched the new Beetlejuice movie, right? Just
Oh,
last Thursday. Let's go see the movie.
dude, that's amazing. Oh, that's awesome.
Dude, and Michael Keaton with him being, 70 years old, he looked great.
Dude, yeah,
Just
from the commercial or for the trailer, it definitely looks like he did like it looked awesome.
yeah, and they kept it original. They didn't do a bunch of AI. They didn't do a lot of new tech. They just kept it original. It was just like the first one. So 30 years later, they didn't do anything different. And you would think that like
Wow,
it was like the same type of vibe
wow,
as when you
that's
saw the
awesome.
first one. But dude, like what gave you the aspiration to be like, you know what? Like I'm gonna start my own gig. I'm gonna do my own brokerage here and
Man, yeah,
see what you're doing.
absolutely. I'd love to tell you the deets on it,
Yeah.
and I'd love to tell you the real story. I mean, it's cool that we kind of have a little bit of time to go into it. So yeah, when I was really excited about like figuring out who do I want to be, what do I want to do in
Mm,
college, we
mm.
created a small marketing business that was doing website uh, design and development and some video production and we were working for a car dealership um, and kind of fast forwarding through all the details there. There's a lot of fun, little exciting, memories there. But
Yeah.
essentially, the store did really well and ended up getting an offer they couldn't refuse to sell to a bigger conglomerate.
Huh.
And so if it kind of became this deal where if I stay, I'm either going to kind of go into this position where I'm no longer running the marketing for the store and I would now be kind of like an internet sales manager, or
Ah.
it would be time to maybe start our own company and, maybe do like if instead of saying, hey, let's go find other clients to do marketing for, like, what if we became the client of the marketing and built our own
Mm.
business and bought into the thing that we were trying to sell? And
Interesting.
so, and so we were trying to figure out what industry would be good. And so I actually took the Johnson O'Connor aptitude test, which is this 2-day test where it's really exhaustive, and they measure, like they'll slap a bunch of blocks on the table and say, put it in the shape of a triangle, go, and they're timing you. And then they throw balls and evaluate how you respond. And they play these notes and you have to determine which one was a higher pitch, or they time you and all this stuff. So for 2 days you're testing, and then at the end they tell you which industry and career path you would be most likely to be energized long term and profitable for the as it lines up with your natural aptitudes.
Yeah.
And for me, after the 2 days of testing, they sat us down, and number one on the list was to run a real estate business. And
Wow.
so I
Really?
said, okay, let's go. And so I called the top selling realtor in the area here in Little Rock. He had been the top selling realtor in Little Rock for 40 years in a row. He was top five. And
Mm.
uh, and so I called him. I said, hey, Roddy, would you be open to discipling me? And I'm about to retire. I'll teach you everything I know. I said,
Wow.
let's go. And so he really did spoil me with an incredible head start into the industry. He literally handed me his book of business, not like his clients. He like an
Yeah. Yeah.
actual book showing, here's what I spend every dollar on. Here's every dollar that we've made. Here's how we do our advertising. Here's how the scripts that we read for when we get an expired call, when we get a for sale by owner call, when we get a
Wow.
listing appointment, when we get a buyer consultation. Like, it was just a real helpful head start
Mm.
and an intimate discipleship style training. So we were doing appointments together, and it wasn't this like classroom setting, listen to this speech on how to do a listing appointment and then go do it. It was, you set the listing appointment or I do, and we'll go
Mm.
together. Let's do it. And it was more of a, hey, Chase, I do, then we do, and now you do. And
Yes.
after each one, we're every time going to get back together and talk about, what did we do well? What could we have done better? And what's something we need to go do now after that? And
Wow.
so just having that follow through and that follow up and just that teamwork, that was something that from the beginning I thought, if I ever have our own company, we're going to be committed to discipleship style training. It's not just going to be, hey, come to this class at 8 o'clock on Tuesday and this one on Thursday at 4 and learn about whatever. Like, no, like, let's do the deals together. And we're
Yeah.
gonna evaluate these appointments together. And so that's been the commitment from the beginning. And so yeah, the detail though, that's a big shift from being under Roddy is that after Roddy did retire, we stayed with Keller Williams there for a little bit, and then a local brokerage called iRealty Arkansas.
Mm.
They were good to just generously offer us kind of a nice deal to come over there, and we were their top team for a little while, and it was great. And we kind of honestly, it was a really fun season. They were tremendous partners. They were kind of the ones that were unafraid to say, like, let's make music videos that are like
Mm.
parodies from popular songs, and dance on top of the houses. And I kind of grew up in a little bit more of a formal setting,
Yeah.
and so I wanted to do those things. I didn't think it was allowed. Like, we can't. We can maybe do it, but we don't want to post it. Like, we're not gonna.
Yeah.
But then I've got this teammate. She's like, no, like, Chase, that's great. Like, you got to share that. Like, get it out there. And then we do, and I'm like, oh, like, I remember the first time I posted a fun video. It was like, I remember feeling like, oh, I need to go delete that. I need to take it right down. And then, of course, it did better than I thought it would. And I get the encouragement from the other very formal people in my life saying, like, that was so fun. Like, I love getting to see that y'all sold that beautiful
Wow.
house, and that, and I'm like, whoa, like, I didn't expect. And so that season was really special. And I give a lot of, gratitude to the people that were a part of the iRealty Arkansas family. And,
Wow.
we got to a point though, where it wasn't that, like, it was just that we were kind of growing in different directions in a way where it was like they kind of were really growing fast and hiring a lot of people, and I appreciated that and loved that for them. But for our team, we kind of kept saying we want to, hire slow and fire fast. Like, I'd rather really be focused on growing, like, our excellence and our skill set, not how many agents we have.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of was the beginning of the divide from, like, instead of saying, like, oh yeah, we can just be a top team somewhere,
Mm.
versus, like, maybe we need to do our own thing, and be a little bit more careful about who's on the squad and how we operate as a team. Because
Dude.
I was doing some cold calling, and I said to either an expired or for sale by owner, I said, hey, are you familiar with, who we are and what we do and how we help our sellers make more money listing their house? And they're like, oh yeah, we've worked with someone at your company before, and that was
Really?
like, whoa, like, you haven't worked with somebody at my team, but I didn't even get a chance to share that. And that was just like this moment where it's like, I think it is important that we be careful about the reputation that we tie ourselves to. And even if there are some great agents at that company,
Yeah.
if we don't have control over who is joining and how they operate, it's harder for me to feel a lot of confidence in knowing that we're wearing the same jersey and we're both proud of it.
Yep.
I really want to know that we're committed to the same level of excellence in everything that we do. So
Wow.
just through, really, it was just this place in Colorado. I was on this retreat. I asked my wife for her 30th birthday. I said, I'll take you anywhere in the world. Where do you want to go? I honestly was expecting to have a little bit of a bank breaker of, she might want to go to Korea. I don't know, just somewhere crazy. And she's like, I want to go to this ranch I heard about in Colorado. I was like, what? She goes, yeah, um, they're doing some sort of, like, worship leader conference, and it's like only like 30 people. It's kind of an intimate deal, and one of
Wow.
my friends is getting to help put it on, so she said we could come if we wanted to, and we're gonna get to go ride horses and shoot guns and get to be with some great people. And I was like, well, let's do it. And we get
Wow.
out there, and there's no cell service, and it was just really sweet, beautiful week away, where all we had was each other and
Mm.
some incredible time in worship. And one of the guys that is now working with Shane helps write a lot of songs with them. He was just praying with me and was like, I think I'm gonna leave my position of, like, this worship leader position that he had for a while at his
Mm.
church. And he's like, I think I'm gonna go do this thing so I can maybe try and get in with, like, Shane. And And he's telling me all about why he wants to do that. And it was a lot of exactly
Wow.
what I was just saying. He's like, I really want to have like a little more control, but not out of pride, but so that I can be a better steward of the gifts I know God's given me.
Amen.
And I was like, wow. And that, and so he's like, so what, how can I pray for you? I was like, well, now I think I know that I want you to pray for me the same thing that we just prayed for you. Cause I wasn't even thinking about that heavily, but now that you put those words to it, I'm just feeling like maybe that's something I need to pray about. And so we prayed over it, and there's just this peace, like it's time to start our own
Yeah.
brokerage, and that quality control, so we can be good stewards of the gifting that God's given us. And so I called the
Wow.
team, and I was like, guys, I think it's time. And they're like, all right, what are we doing? Let's go. And they were so awesome to like just rock and roll. I mean, we hit the ground running. In 2019 was the first year that we became Rackley Realty, and that was the year I was the #1 agent in the state of Arkansas, sold $65 million worth of houses. I could not have done it without the team, and I 100% could not have done it without the Lord's blessing.
Amen. Dude, what a freaking roller coaster ride, dude.
Oh, I
I
know.
just,
It's been all
oh
over.
my God. But, it says a lot about the fact that the control is one thing, but also knowing that like you're setting a different standard. If you call someone, you go through that process, damn well that like they're if they worked with you authentically and really worked with you, they're not hanging up.
Yeah.
The way that you are approaching what you're doing and how you're doing it is setting a total different level of just expertise, knowledge, passion, delivery, which just speaks so much to the success that you've had and the fact that you take the time to hire and you fire faster and you want to have fun through the process. Like, I think we all get so caught up in, especially the real estate world, it's like SOPs, KPIs, are you hitting your numbers, making the calls, doing this, doing that. And people get it's like, relax, take a deep breath. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Don't need to be
Yeah.
that serious. And let's,
Relationships above all else.
yes.
People over profit. We have 15 what we call Rackley rules, and it's just a fun, really list of values that we try to stay committed to. And it's not like rules that like, oh, if you break it, you're out. It's more
Yeah.
of just a kind of a guide of like, this is who we want to be. And there's a lot of times that we fail, but we do our best to stay committed to these core values. And
Mm,
that first one is people over profit.
yeah.
And we try to let that ring true with how we do everything. So like
Yes.
it's that we remember we serve people, not properties. And so like even the way that we save our files in our cloud system is that we title the folder by the name of the client and then put the address. Like it just even the
Mm.
little things, like we just, in everything we do, we just want to have these little reminders that it's about the person that we're serving, not just about the property.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. I actually just got out of a meeting on the sponsor side, lift off agent. And it was interesting because older agent, been in the business for a while, got out, then she's coming back in, and her whole philosophy and thought process was the listing and totally forgetting, not that she forgot about the relationships, she was just more focused on like adding value with coming soon, just listed, and it was more so about the listing. And I was just like, I'm like, you gotta add some value here. I said, if you're gonna
Yeah,
do anything, it's like, you door knock and you're doing FISBOs and you're doing circle prospecting or whatever the case may be. I said, you gotta be able to have them and direct them somewhere so you can give them some additional value, and you don't have to be there all the time, and you can be able to show them that you were thoughtful in the process of the value that you were going to add before you even added it. You know what
absolutely.
I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
I can imagine that's what you're probably up to as far as like, as soon as someone's in your ecosystem, I'm sure you have great systems and processes set to be able to continuously add value to a customer that worked with you at one time or another.
Absolutely. There's certain things that we've invested in that have helped us to be able to stay more true to those values
Mm,
and to make sure we're following through and valuing, the relationship above all else, and, just doing all the right things to make sure that the client gets the best possible experience. Like there are things that we've invested in, but I do think that part of what has helped our team stand out or maybe just have a little bit more just at such a young age, be able to experience a lot of success. I
Yeah.
think part of it's that we're just like not afraid to just focus on the fundamentals.
Yeah.
There's just so many things that you can do that can end up almost like crowding your mind on how you operate as a business. And in some ways, it's so much simpler than we make it. So like
Mm.
we use and abuse Siri. I mean, we just absolutely like just with setting up calendar events, just setting reminders, like and just we talk about how do we want to make sure that we take advantage of the tools that are already free. Like there's
Yes.
so many incredible free tools that if you use them right, will set you up for so much success. So, things like text replacement rules. I mean, it sounds so simple, but like, a lot of people will pay these, companies and stuff to do so, follow up and whatever. But it's
Mm-hmm.
like if you just have a good text replacement rule set up for things like, for instance, like once a deal is under contract and then we've done the inspection and we're going for that final walkthrough, we've kind of got a series of things that we want to accomplish at the walkthrough. One most excitedly being a celebration photo and maybe a little slow-mo video of them popping confetti and
Yeah.
just maybe jumping in front of the house, all those little things. Well, we've got text replacement rules that takes less than a second to type and send, that will send, hey, thank you so much for this opportunity, it's been
Yeah.
awesome. Like other clients have shared about how helpful it was for them to find us by Google, and
Mm.
checking our Google reviews. Like, would you take a second to share what you told me in person today about and share that on this Google link? And then
Yes.
it's got that whole text and then also the link to the Google review, and it's a text, versus like this email from a third party that, like it might work, but it feels so much
Mm-hmm.
more personal when it's like, I just walked away from you and I send this text, or
Yes.
or I'm even right here with you. I'm saying, hey, people have said that the value of these reviews were really helpful for them. Could I text you the link to be able to share that real quick? And I just text them, the link, and I have it right there all the time. All I have to do is type LLLRA. Like I got, that's the review request for Google, and then LLLRB for Facebook, and it's just, if you have it all set up in these easy to use, already free tools, you find yourself expediting this certain steps that a lot of people overly stress about and end up
Mm.
kind of missing out on because they try to use these other systems that, or you go back into your follow-up boss to go click the button to send the email. It's like, just do it now. Anything that you can
Yes.
do that's a do it now opportunity, just do it. Get it done.
I love that. I love that. I think that so many people out there, and if you're resonating with this message here, and this is you, then listen up. And we would love to get your feedback. Also, of course, go ahead and comment below. And we appreciate your time. So subscribe and like if you're finding value here. I feel like so many people get so caught up in maybe the process, and thinking about all the things. And that's why real estate versus technology. It's like, stop being against yourself when it comes to, and people don't think about this. It's like, you're your own worst enemy if you're thinking about all the things, which should be a standard operating procedure, which should not be thought about if you're using technology, like you said, to just get it done now. And then
Get
you
it
can
done.
put everything down on paper. And all you got to do is have a checklist. Okay, A done, B done, C done, C, and you just go down that list. And then before you know it, you're good. And then you can do what you do, which it seems like you're focusing more on the client experience, right? People forget what you said and did, but they won't forget the way you made them feel. So if you make them feel a certain way and you enhance their experience, they're going to be like, man, that experience is the best experience I ever had. And I'll tell you what, I wasn't expecting any of that with buying a house.
Mm, yeah.
And I can imagine that's what they get with you.
Yeah. Hopefully. Not all the time. Yeah. But another thing too is like, it's really important to just be the best listener you can possibly be.
Yeah.
So like you'll find ways to serve people more effectively if you're just asking the right questions. I remember when I was reading through some scripts that Roddy had given me, and it had questions on there that I hadn't thought about asking. And
Mm.
I had even maybe would have thought like, that seems like a weird one to ask, but you start doing it, and you trust the leaders that are teaching you, but you trust these leaders that hand you these scripts, and you practice it and try it. And all of a sudden you realize, like, oh, that question, when you ask it right, is an incredible information gatherer, and it will help you to be able to properly serve that person and be able to think outside of the box in a way that's effective for them.
Yes.
I mean, I told one of my agents just this past week, if you can think creatively on how you can get a deal closed, that is one of the most valuable assets that a client can have in a realtor, is a creative closer. Someone who kind of understands, like, or seeks to understand, what is it going to take to make this deal work for this client and for this client, like for this seller and for this buyer. What needs to happen for this to be a win-win deal?
I love that. I love that. Yeah, and it's interesting. I feel like, not that you need this, but you're almost like a therapist as a real estate agent, right? You have to listen. You have to listen. And I think the biggest thing is that I can imagine being frustrating is, like, people have things that come up, right? Life happens. And sometimes you got to listen to a lot of life happens, right? And really intently listen and kind of go through that process. And like, I just had that with my last meeting. And, at a certain point, I was like, all right, like, reel it back in. Why are we here? Okay. You get to set the right intention. Why are we here? What are we trying to do here? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause, you let people go. You'll just, it's like, all right, we've been talking about a lot of stuff last two hours here. And, I love y'all, but why we're,
yeah, absolutely.
why we're here.
Yeah. I had an assistant that, or still do, she's still with me, that I was needing help with transaction management, and I needed my transaction coordinator to be more than a transaction coordinator. I needed them to be a head on a swivel, conscientious thinker to help me accomplish the next steps of a transaction and be forward thinking on how to, hey, I noticed that you had that listing agreement signed, so I went ahead and got the MLS set up as a partial, so you can just review and launch when you're ready.
Yeah.
Or, just that kind of stuff. And so I really liked this girl. She had only done a couple of deals for me, but I just could tell, like, she's that, and she's the answer to the prayer that we need.
I love it.
And so I found out just through having a lunch with her and her husband that what they needed in that position of their life was a significant deposit, if you will, some cash, because her husband was having he had a business issue that needed help. And so we struck up a deal where essentially we paid a nice high risk, maybe arguably not smart move on my end to give her a pretty significant lump sum of money, with the understanding that she would now credit us 20% of anything she makes on the transaction management company that she has.
Wow.
Plus she would give us, like, first dibs on, like you're my most important client, and I will take care of you at a discounted rate in perpetuity.
Wow.
And so we did that probably 3 or 4 years ago, and she has been the biggest gift. I mean,
wow.
I think it's so important to have great support. And so when someone's talking to us about, like, hey, I'm interviewing multiple brokerages, like, what do you got? What I always tell them is, I'll say, I just think it's important that you choose for you based on, is this the right, do they have the right training system? And like I said before, we are a discipleship style training. We're not a classroom. We're not this huge global company where you can log into, this virtual world and have a Sims character that sits down in a class, like whatever all that was. But we'll be at the appointments with you. We're going to make sure that the client, at the end of the day, you're wearing my name on your jersey. We're going to make sure that client has a great experience. We're not letting you go to the wolves. I'm going to make sure that client has a 10 out of 10, and you're going to be a major part of that. And you're going to be the rock star, poster child through this process of how we want to make sure you are the best possible realtor you can be to master whatever niche or market segment you want to do. And so
Wow.
training for us is discipleship. It's we're going to spend time together and we're going to do the deals together. And so training, and then I would say, is your what is the team like? Is it a team environment where you could be able to go on vacation and not have to stress about, are my clients going to be okay if they need to go see a house? Like, we have a showing contribution system. So it's you
Mm.
simply text the team and say, hey, I got a client looking to see this house at this time. Anyone available? And somebody claims it, and they know that that agent's going to get paid a certain amount to show up and show that house. They know to ask, what's their favorite coffee drink. We're going to show up with their favorite drink, and they're going to be able to have a great experience as if it was the same agent as best as possible. And
Wow.
so you want to have good training, and you want to have a good team so you can know they represent the same level of excellence and same commitment to great service that you do. And so that team environment was just paramount for us. We got to make sure we have great training and a great team. And the other thing being tools. Like, you just got to make sure you're investing in to grow a business as a real estate, your own real estate business growth, with a team that has the right tools that are
Yeah.
going to equip you to serve those clients really well. And that's kind of like we were talking about earlier. Like, we take advantage of a lot of those free tools, but
Yeah.
we also have invested in some really great technology that has helped us to leverage, ourselves and to reach more people more quickly.
Wow. I love that. It's like, it reminds me of like mentorship, right? So if anyone out there viewing and listening, you're looking to have quicker, faster success. You could do it on your own and you could take
Yeah.
that extra time, or you potentially can, work with Chase, right? And then work with what you guys have going. And it just gives you the systems, the process, the tools, and everything just A through Z. And I think there's a lot to be said with that, especially if you're someone out there that doesn't have an aspiration to do it, have your own brokerage or do
Totally.
anything crazy. You just want to be focused. You want to be organized. You want to know what's next. And I think that a lot of individuals, like, you'll see agents out there. I was speaking with one earlier this week, and she's like, I don't want to say I'm a broker hopper, but I kind of am a broker hopper. And it's like, okay, well, it sounds like you haven't found the right one or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that about what you're saying, because it makes a whole lot of sense. And I'm actually surprised. Why did you go and do your own thing? It sounds like from your mentorship and how, like, the beginnings of everything started, instead of joining any of these like cloud-based downline, corporate kind of like profit sharing type models.
Yeah. I mean, the profit share models are attractive to me. And I'll never say never. But the bottom line was, through thinking through all of the details of it, it seemed to me that the those models are typically really a great way to either start or finish your career in real estate.
Got it.
If you're in the haymaking season of just dominating and saying, I'm exclusively focused on selling houses and selling
Yeah.
property, in the words of Roddy McCaskill, you got to do what makes the most money. Just don't. And so, yeah, there's a lot of benefit to being able to have extra cash flow from, if you've recruited agents. The problem is, you have to really recruit a lot of agents for that to have any real significant amount of value. And so,
Mm,
if you're not in a position of popularity where that will naturally happen, you're going to end up distracting yourself to make a lot of effort to recruit agents. And then
mm.
your job now becomes that you're agent recruiter slash realtor, versus, no, I sell houses. That's what
Yes.
I do. And so it was important to me and to my team that we're not as worried about, trying to be the most popular firm or the most, like, we have the most agents. Like, we actually don't want that. We want to
Yeah.
have the team that we know each other and we take care of each other. And we want to have people that are highly committed to the level of service that we're committed to. And we're
Wow.
going to do the best that we can possibly do. And, maybe someday when we're getting a little older and we want to, work a little bit more on a different type of retirement plan, and maybe enter a different type of real estate effort, which could be agent recruitment,
Yeah.
then yeah, maybe a profit share model could be something that we look at. But we've huddled up about it even recently within the past month of, should we reconsider? Should we, we've been doing our own thing now since I guess 2019, and so it's been a really good run. But
Yeah.
is it time to start considering, what if we joined Real? Because there's some really cool people there. I mean,
Yeah.
Sharon has been so impressive to me, and Paige Steckling has been such an encouragement, and just I love all that she does, and she's just shared a lot of great insight about how effective that has been for her to join that team. And Matt
Mm.
Leonetti has called me to tell me about all the incredible benefits that's been for him, and
Yeah. He's
and
been on
so
the show.
yeah, it's attractive. I'm very impressed with what they do and why they do it. And again, I think you have to have a certain level of popularity for that, or following, I should say, or just a natural, like you have
Yeah.
a lot of people that want to join the game, and you can just be like, yeah, join my downline. And then you kind of let yourself be able to outsource all the training. And that's a
Mm.
great model for them. And if you're not that popular or have that big of a following, then it might be, harder to do unless you're making an effort to go after those agents to
Yeah.
recruit. Otherwise, you're not going to have enough recruits that it makes a significant benefit of, cash flow
Mm.
on a monthly basis compared to the amount I make by, being fully focused on selling houses.
That is so true. Yeah, we've had those conversations on the show before, as far as like, you know, from building a downline to transacting and trying to manage all that, right? Because focus on the one thing, you'll have more success in trying to be all the things for everybody. Technology helps, right, with that process, which is great. We work with Connor with the Wolfpack as 3,300 agents on his downline, and literally help with the cut, the editing of the training that he does to be able to help with building and adding more value to that downline. So there are some ways to be able to do some things with that. But my whole question is, I know a lot of agents out there, it's like the world of real estate's different. Like, it's all predicated based off of your effort and, like, big commission checks, all the things. But if you're not planning for retirement or investing in income producing opportunities, whether it's Airbnb, long-term, rental properties, whatever, or a downline joining, Real, then what is your retirement? You know what I'm saying? Because
I
you
would
gotta
argue that
plan.
I think a more, and I mean this for like more for like our individual team that are on our squad currently,
Yeah, yeah.
knowing what I know and who I know that we're working with now. I think a more profitable and more reliable venture, uh, more than joining a profit share model and then focusing some dedicated amount of time to like recruiting or training or whatever.
Hmm. Hmm.
I would argue that there is a more reliable and possibly much more profitable effort towards investing in real estate and actually just taking advantage of the deals that come across your desk. Learn how to get good at creating deals, and you just naturally will have that happen as you grow your
Yeah.
business. You just grow your network, and you grow. I mean, man, it breaks my heart, but I get so many calls from people who I loved helping buy their dream home when they were getting married, and they call a few years later and they're ready to sell because they're having a divorce. And
Oh,
it's a sad deal, except it's really exciting because when you say, well, how soon do you want to get it sold? Would you be more interested in a cash offer, or let me, help you get this thing updated a little bit so we can sell it for the top dollar? And they say, well, my wife cheated on me in this house. I don't care what we make. I just want it done. And you
wow.
say, well, if I could just take over your payments, could we that'll be it. I'll pay you a couple grand and take over your payments if that's really what you want. I mean, it's an investment. So that's an unfair deal. As long as you're understanding that I could help you make more money if we take more than, just take 30 days to do some work and get this thing under contract
Yep.
with a high paying, residential retail buyer, or I can close next week and give you this, or take over these payments. And then all of a sudden you got a great cash flow positive investment, and you helped your friend get the deal that they wanted, which was a quicker close. And that's what blows my mind about this whole
Wow.
industry is like, people, they don't always care about what you think they care about.
Yeah.
So that's why you got to ask the right questions.
Yeah.
Some people would rather just close more quickly and more conveniently than potentially get to make a few extra $1,000.
Yeah, I read 100%. So my wife and I, she was a teacher for 16 years, physical ed, PE, and she's a tea master. So she wanted to go full time with Residentico. But 2.5 years ago, we retired her. She had money sitting around. In Arizona, there's a lot of snowbirds. They all come from Canada, and so we have all of these mobile home parks. And I'm just like,
Wow.
honey, instead of your money just sitting there, why don't we invest in these mobile home parks? So 2 bedroom, 2 bath, 1977, double wide, we could mess with, because you can get funding with that, and they sell faster. Definitely go with more of the open concept, because we have two sitting right now that aren't open concept, and also in the summertime, the snowbirds leave and it takes longer. Same story you had. Had a gentleman go and saw that I was flipping two cross street from his property, looking at potentially, he's a VA veteran. You want to get a VA loan, wanted to use that opportunity to be able to buy another property.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the cash flow at the time. And he's like, hey, this property, I want 15,000. We're buying a house. I said, timing's off. And I told him what you said. I said, you could do this, this, and this. I have all the contractors, and connect you. You can get a little small loan, whatever, and you can make double, if not triple. And he's like, nah, I really don't want to. This and other thing. So I used the power of social media, did a couple stories. My buddy's like, yeah, I'll give you 30 grand. So cool. So he's in at 30. We get the property down to $5,000. We're in it like 30. It's on the market for 70, right? And he just didn't want to do. He said, nah, I'm good. So, right there, I
That's
think,
exactly what I'm talking about. This
yes,
game is so fun because you're helping people accomplish what's most important to them, and
yes.
you can end up building great cash flow for yourself and your family.
Yes. I don't know. Like, this is one of the first times I think this specific conversation or story came up. And I don't know how many people out there that are viewing and listening to this right now really think about that. Really think about the fact that there is other opportunities. And what you're talking about, Peace Morby, he's in my market here, talks about, it's called subject to, which
Hmm.
is literally just subject to a contract, like you said, like, hey, I can take over your payments. I can give you 5 grand, 10 grand, whatever. So that way you could, move your stuff out, get into another place, like, you can rent or whatever. And then you take over those payments, and then boom, you get a renter in there. Then you have that margin, and, the deed's in your name. And 9 times out of the 10, like, the bank's not going to call. They're not going to say that, it's due. Like, sorry, we need our, $200,000 because this loan was in Joe's name. It wasn't in Chase's name. Like, they don't care. They're getting their payment every single month. They're good.
That's right. And here's a little tip to all of our friends
Getting
watching
juicy.
this. They would be wise to learn about that subject to option, because a lot of these people that are about ready to start selling, they had great interest rates when they closed, 3 to 6 years ago,
Yes.
and they are now wanting to go and get rid of, to sell, and there's been a significant surplus of inventory, and so there's going to be a lot more expireds. Here's another little tip: call expireds. That was a hard thing to do profitably for a couple of years, because if you were expired in 2020, there's a real problem with your house, because like it was just so easy to sell. So if you were an expired listing, there was something significant. But
Yeah.
now we're seeing a surplus of inventory. People were trying to sell, and the economy's been a little bit in question. So for perfectly honest reasons, people haven't been able to sell their property, but they're perfectly fine properties. They
Yes.
just either weren't put in front of the right person at the right time, or they weren't quite prepared as well as they could have been for the market, or they weren't quite priced right. And so if you can come to these expired sellers and say, hey, I want to help, make sure you get this thing sold. I've found a way to actually really make sure this can fly off the shelf. If we do this trio of success, we're going to prepare it well, we're going to price it right, and I'm going to promote it like crazy. I'm going to make this thing famous.
Mm.
So if you can come to these expired sellers and do that, but then also be able to ask that question, like we were talking about, be the best listener. Ask the question, like, would you be open-minded to just having someone take over your payments, and maybe even to pay you a small sum of money to be able to walk away? And
Yes.
and then you might be surprised. There are people out there that, like, it might not be worth for you to buy their house for the price that might even be considered a fair market value, but they would be willing to take, a few $1,000 and happily take that if they know that that means they don't have another payment.
Yeah.
And so you offer that because they got to get out of their payment. Maybe they've, either it's a divorce or a death, or they've got a job move and they've already moved out of town. They got 2 payments. They got to get rid of one. Like, there's a lot of opportunity to be able to just simply ask that question. Like, hey, what would you be open-minded to that for either someone on our team or one of our clients to take advantage of, this opportunity to make a win-win
Wow.
deal for you. So yeah, that's going to be an incredible opportunity, I think, for realtors to be able to think creatively about how to create deals that are a win-win for both parties, and that's going to be an exciting opportunity for anyone that's able to learn a little bit about how to do those. It's not that complicated, but you got to get on the phones and call these expireds. That's going to be
I
that's going
love
to be
that.
where the money's at over the next few months.
That's huge, 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 huge. There were some big golden nuggets there. Rewind that. Definitely call those expireds. That makes a whole lot of sense, because then individuals really can be able to take advantage of the fact that people probably still have lower interest rates, but like for one reason or another, like Chase said, it just didn't sell. And I feel like I like where you're coming from, because when you think cloud-based or your own individual brokerage, like you were talking about, going deeper into focusing on the one thing, you literally can help buyers and help sellers and do what you're doing and build a real estate empire by default 20, 30 years in. Well, you'll have a portfolio of cash flow properties, and you don't even have to think about building a downline, training the agents. I'll tell you all right now, I'm 10 years in. I've met well over 16,000 plus agents. I mean, they're chickens with their head cuts off. It's like you see huge pendulum swings from agents moving from one broker to another broker, or individuals trying to add massive value to their downline. And there's an upside, but also it's like, I like what you're saying. Stay focused, stay in your lane, build your empire. I mean, you don't really need to go any other direction.
That's right. There might be a season where there's a strategic move to make that adjustment. So, like, there will probably be a season for us that will be when I am getting a little too old to do the same discipleship style training.
Yeah.
At that point, when I'm ready to be home at 4 o'clock and I don't want to be going to listing appointments, like tomorrow morning, I'm, going to go ride some horses with a guy to go look at some acreage about what he wants to sell. And I love that. But when I'm, 20 years older, I may not want to go ride horses on a Saturday morning when I could be spending time with my family.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be times like that, and just evenings working deals late at night to make sure that your newer agents getting to really negotiate that deal for your clients as best as possible, so that client leaves you that 5-star review and sends you those referrals. That might not be as easy to do when my goals are different, and when our top agents on the team have different goals. Maybe they want to travel, or maybe we want to go open up a little bit more aggressively in other markets. And so when that's the case, having a cloud-based model where we have access to a lot more infrastructure and training that is less discipleship style, that will be valuable. And so, I think it's important to keep an open mind. Don't be the fool that just has such a strong opinion that's loud and thinks that it's always right for everybody or always wrong for everybody. It depends on who you are, where you are, and which season you're in, and what your ultimate goals are.
Yeah, I mean, amen to that. And I got to say that for some reason or another, I see in your future, Chase, that you're going to do something, whether it's setting up a school or whatever it is. I can see you not walking so far away from the discipleship like training. I feel like you could do more with your training. I feel like that could be something that could be a part of your legacy, to be able to train other people, to be able to speak into others, as far as this model of this way of being in regards to your brokerage. Just like at the Liftoff agent side, like we want to change the corporate model, make people don't feel like numbers. What is your goals? Let me see your vision boards, team. Okay, what's your goal? Where you want to go? Real estate professional. Like, let's get the customer what they need and get their goals met. And guess what, team? You're going to get your goals met, and by default, the company get its goals met. So I resonate with you as far as changing the construct of the way that everything has been and is for so long. And I don't know, man. I could see who knows, a brighter future for the way that you show up and what you're training. So
I love
don't count
that.
your
Yeah.
chickens before the hatch with that, because I don't know. Sounds like you got something going good there.
Well, thank you. I do want to share that there's one thing that we did as a team. You don't need to own your own brokerage to do this one thing that has been a huge blessing to our team. And that is my teammate Ramsey and I, early on, about probably 7 or 8 years ago, we just were huddling up and we were like, hey, what if we committed, 30 minutes to an hour a week where we just try to say, let's seek truth together, and let's maybe just read a chapter of Proverbs and just
Mm,
talk about it and see what we can learn, and just
mm,
see if that will help us kind of recenter each week on remembering, you know, what it's all about and why we
mm.
do what we do. And so it started with just this, hey, I'll be reading a proverb a week on Wednesday at 10 a.m. and I'd love for you to join me, but if not, it's no big deal. And so it was a dedicated time. We put it on the calendar. One of our rules is if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist. So schedule what we do and do what we
Yep.
schedule. And so we put it on the calendar. We call it the Team Truth Talk. And so it's ended up becoming maybe my favorite part of every week, where
Wow.
we read through a chapter of Proverbs. And it's a beautiful thing because we got maybe believers, we got baby believers, we got some of the strongest believers I know. And we got some people that are definitely not into that, that are coming and contributing some incredible to some incredible conversations that are
Wow.
helping us all to grow closer to each other. Because the beautiful thing is, regardless what religious belief system that you have,
Mm,
I love that our team has this common thread that we're all equally committed to being the best that we can possibly be, and to seeking truth so that we can be the best servants to the clients that we get the opportunity to serve.
wow. That's amazing, man. I 100% commend you for that, because at the end of the day, it's good to slow down, and remember. And whether it's something as simple as when you wake up in the morning, practice your gratitude for what it is that you have, so then you could be able to look at that vision board or look at the goals that you have, and just be excited for what's next, to reading the Proverbs and just really just giving grace, and just being thankful for all the things that the man upstairs has blessed us with, and whether
Yeah,
it's universe, God, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Like,
totally.
I think the spiritual side of things is so important.
Yeah, you've got to
So
have a
important.
winning routine. If you can't look at your calendar and say, this calendar looks like a calendar of someone who's very successful. If you can't look at it and see that, then you need to fix your calendar, and you need to
Yes.
schedule what you do and do what you schedule. And so put it on your calendar to have time for scripts practice. Put it on
Yes.
your calendar to have cold calls to expired leads. Put it on your calendar to say, touching my sphere and reaching out to them with a gift giving, or pop by gifts,
Yes.
or put it on the calendar. Like for me, it's a Wednesday lunch. I don't know who I'm taking to lunch, but it's a client lunch. So I'm going to make sure I put somebody in that, and I'm going to take somebody to lunch on Wednesday
Yes.
at 11 a.m. And so it's just important that we have a calendar that you can see that this means success if you stay true and stay committed to that winning routine. And for me, that winning routine, it starts in the morning. I have what I call my GREN routine. I start with G being gratitude. I just tell the Lord what I'm thankful for, and it helps me because I'm not always feeling it. But when you start to make yourself say it, you speak it into existence. And so
Yes.
you start with gratitude, and then you read. You want to read some. I recommend having a nice little trio at every given point of, so you can pick between the books that you want to go to. But I always think it's important to start with scripture if you can, and then have an entertaining book, and then have an educational book, and then
Yes.
and then have a just like, if there's something that's specific, like a challenging book, like a thing that you actually want to stretch your mind. Like for me, I was studying about like financial segments that I had never learned about with securities and trades, because
Mm,
it was something I just, it's good to just do hard things. So just to
I
start with
love that.
gratitude, and then read, and then exercise. I mean, if you're not taking care of your body, you can't take care of your clients. It's just that simple. So exercise, and then encourage. Like if you can, try and encourage at least two people every morning. Just send them a little text, send them a little love, just send some encouragement out there.
I
And
love
then
that.
the end being nourish. Like I can't have a great day if I haven't had a great diet. like take care of your body. You know, I start with my reds and greens every morning. I have these, you know, these supplements. So that way, if I don't even have time for breakfast or lunch, I'm good. I've gotten the nutrients that I need for the day in my first hour of being awake.
Wow. I love that, man. And it's crazy. I'm right there with you on the same page. And I think that's now that we're coming into an hour and being respectful for everyone's time, that's a great way to end the show. I think that right there, like I'm on the same page with you. I do the exact same thing every single morning, whether it's red light, I do the Wim Hof breathing, the sea salt
That's
water, lemon,
incredible.
every day. Right. And it sets the tone and it sets it up for like anyone viewing out and listening out there. Shit gets chaotic. And if you don't set yourself up at the beginning of the day with all the things and
That's
you
it.
ground yourself nice and good, your brain is going to be like, I
That's
can't
right.
even.
Yeah,
You got to.
that's right. And then have some fun doing it.
Amen, man. Dude, Chase, this has been an absolute pleasure. Dude, we can go on for at least another hour, dude.
Oh, no, I feel like we're just having fun hanging out. Let's do it again sometime.
100%, dude. 100%. Actually, it's funny. We're in the studio and I look over and my wife's coming in with my daughter. I'm like, why are they coming in right now? Like
Oh.
20 after 1 p.m. And the guests for the in-person show were already here. I'm like,
Oh.
they don't live and die by their calendar. So I said 2:00. It is what it is. Like I'm
Nice.
not wavering. I'm giving you
Oh,
the
my
respect and the
goodness.
time that you deserve, right? So it's good. Don't worry about it.
Oh,
But
no, you can go take care of them. That's great.
what
I'm
I was
glad I got to spend some time with you. It's been great.
Dude, yeah, you take care. And thanks for all viewers and listeners out there. As it is our intention, if we take things from our show to apply to your business, have more massive success. Like, subscribe, notification bell. Episodes live Monday morning. We'll see you all in the next one.